Okay, well, just looking, okay. It's green. No, nothing?
Lean in a little more.
Is there anything?
Not much.
I'll just go grab another one over there. No, it's gonna be okay.
Who's Kevin?
Yeah, I think it's good. Maybe one. Nothing here? Nothing. Okay.
He's tall.
Okay, we have Rob. We'll talk Rob, that's fine. We'll just start once we get it working, we get it working.
Just think of us as a customer standing at your account instead of hollering.
Yeah. Okay, I'll call the Charter Township of Long Lake Board of Trustees regular meeting for October 14th, 2025 to order. We'll stand up for the pledge of allegiance first.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Bozrak. Here. Shaw.
Here.
Wheeler. Here. Robinson.
Here.
Ledner, Rumsfeld, and Peters are absent.
The next is public comment, and you're all set there, Heidi, to read the rules.
Any person shall be permitted to address this meeting of the Board of Trustees, which is required to be open to the public under the provision of the Michigan Open Meetings Act as amended. Public comment should be carried out in accordance with the following. Any person wishing to address the board shall state their name and address. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding attendees to answer trustees' questions. The chairperson shall control the amount of time that each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 2 minutes. The chairperson will extend the amount of time each person is allowed to speak. If a group wishes to address the board, the chairperson may refer to the group to representative spokesperson. The town board does not respond to comments other than questions by the trustees or to make a necessary clarification. Silence or non-response from the board should not be interpreted as disinterested or disagreement by the board.
Anyone like to speak in the first public comment? You want to come right up here. I don't think the mic is working, but we'll be able to hear you.
Hi, my name is Holly Harvey, and I live at 6147 London Drive. We have, for the last almost 3 years, I would say, I've been having a lot of difficulty with the neighbor right next door to my house. From anything to stalking and harassment with a drone, to them running, which is essentially a homeless encampment outside of their home, as well as other drug activity and that they're selling, and as well as public intoxication and public indecent exposure, I guess, would be tantamount to what they're doing. And this has been very concerning to us, obviously, because we live right next door to it, but also to many of our neighbors. We have lots of families with young children. And I guess where the board would come in, because we realize a lot of these issues are addressed by law enforcement, but where I feel like the board can come in, or the township can come in, is our subdivision is zoned for single-family resident homes. And so they have been, the brothers who live there, they inherited the home from their deceased parents. They are all 40 and over. They have invited, essentially, like having a flop house and a homeless encampment inside and outside their home. 2 people in the last few months have actually died from drug and alcohol overdose. So this is becoming a really serious and problematic situation, and has been for some time. know, this might, I guess, we're trying to look at every angle that we could solve this, including, you know, can the zoning, be enforced? And they not be allowed to have multiple people who are not their immediate family members living inside and outside of their home.
Anyone else wish to speak at the first public comment? If not, we'll go on to.
I'd like to,
Yep, perfect.
I cannot speak on the same matter that.
You can.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
you can.
Hi,
Hi.
my name's Robert McDonald. I live at 1207 Piccadilly Road, which is down the street from this home that the previous speaker mentioned. And not only, I don't know exactly the law enforcement issue going on, but the place looks like an absolute eyesore. And grass and the yard has not been maintained at all for 3 years. There must be some sort of ordinance that would allow the county to enforce that if it exists at all. And I would just, you know, second what Holly spoke about, that it's a real problem. And you've got people living on the outside of the home, and from what I haven't seen it firsthand. I don't really want to see it firsthand, but they've got an outdoor shower set up. So people are, you know, it's turning into a homeless encampment, and I don't think it's something that wants to be. I know it doesn't want to be supported by the neighborhood. And I'm certain if the township investigated, they wouldn't want to support it either.
Thank you, Robert. If not, we will go on, Patty will read the consent agenda for tonight.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be approved in one motion. Any member of the board may ask if any item on the consent calendar, be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for board discussion. Tonight's consent calendar consists of the township board meeting minutes of September 9th, 2025, the special board meeting minutes of September 25th, 25, the treasurer's report for July 25, the parents report September 25, the zoning permit list September 25, the zoning report September 25, the enforcement officer report for September 25, the first department report for September 25, the check register for September 25, the county sheriff's report for September 25, and the road commission for September 25, the assessor's third quarter report, the treasurer's quarterly investment report for September 25, and the third quarterly revenue and expense report for September 25.
Make a motion if anyone wants to approve that consent calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Support. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent calendar is approved. Conflict of interest by anyone? No? Okay, Dan, it looks like you're the first report up. Oh, you're right. I went right on by that to start. Motion to approve the agenda. I have nothing to add to it. Support. Motion by Glenn, support by Kendra. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Morgan.
All right. Good evening, Dan Watkins, Grand Forks County Road Commission. Right now, we're kind of winding down for the end of the year, all of our paving projects, and the big ones, obviously, Barney Road, which we thank for partnering on that one. Hopefully next week is the goal to have that project done, so we'll have all the asphalt there on Barney Road next week, so very excited about other little projects that just popped up, we're trying to finish up here, filling the seating over on Bunker Hill Road. Had an opportunity to do a little stretch of road right there. The township, Acton Township, had to pull some permits from the railroad into Eagle, so we're taking the opportunity to put some water runoff issues there. But after that, we're hoping to wrap up the season. With that being said, we're already starting to plan and look at 2026. So if there's anything the township is interested in looking at, please let us know. And we're trying to get that list together. So we got a couple of big projects, you know, EMA and CAF, those are our big ones, those we just plan out a few years. But the other ones we start to fill in the projects, so that's when we can start partnering on the projects. So, and then the other thing we're trying to work on, unfortunately, is getting ready for winter. So, not something I'm looking forward to right now, but we're working on it hard. So our salt's in, our sand's in, our blades are in, all our bolts and nuts. People need to think about that. It holds the blades on, you have to replace those every single time. So we have to stock up a couple thousand nuts and bolts and washers and all that stuff. So everything's in, we're ready to go. So our goal is by October 15th, we have 15 trucks ready to plow snow. If we have a little something in, 15 trucks, a light snow, we're ready to take care of all the county. We have 30 routes total. Right now we have 19 plow trucks that are ready to go right now, so it's in pretty good shape. The goal with the rest of the trucks is ready for is November 1st, and we're on track for that. The problem is we use our trucks, both in the summer and the winter, so we're using those as dump trucks still, we have to put them in this one, so it's trying to finish up those last few projects and then get those trucks back together. Other than that, another project that we've been working on, we just got back, I think I talked about this once before, was we're doing the county-wide car count. We've never done that before. There's roads we don't even have car counts on, there's ones that are 20 years old. So every single road in the county we give a count on, and it's just stuff like that. So we're trying to process all that data right now, so put it in something usable that we can also do with it, get it on the map. That's something we'll definitely, get out of the township, get on with the Long Lake Township, how many cars on this road, or, you know, where's traffic coming into Long Lake from? We can show that data. So it'll be great. That's all I have for tonight. If you have any questions.
One question I get, I've had people, first they were unhappy because you took the, traffic light down by Gray Road, and now it's back on. But they're not understanding, and I haven't gone through there, so I don't know, there's no turn light, is it just a three-way?
So there's no turn lane there, and that's one of the problems about putting the light in there, that it doesn't allow turns, so then it has backup. So there's times where, I was actually down there today, Cedar Run, there was nobody coming into town, but they had the green, so we had to wait for those students to do that. So that's the bad thing, nobody texting on there as well, so,
Okay,
that's the bad thing with that project.
and it's just temporary?
Yeah, so when that light was put there originally, that was actually DPE that put that up there because they had to shut down 72 and they were getting ready for the roundabout, so they put that in there. When the state was doing the project there with the roundabout, they said it started open the whole time, so they didn't put a light in there. We're doing Barney Road right now, so we decided it'd be a good idea to put that light in, so we're doing Barney Road.
And the 72 is the roundabout done?
I don't think it's done completely in the center, but I know it's opened up a lot more traffic for them to it, so. And then I heard today, if everyone's probably aware that the 31's actually put an interlock in, which is huge. They actually took a look at some, traffic counts, at the school, I don't know if you can think about the school light back in that day. That project's still ongoing. That was a Fed 8 project, so we're still waiting for them to get some, the final funding done, but that should be done in the next few months. But anyway, what we were seeing was normally I think, the numbers were like 8,000 cars a day there. We were up to like 16,000, it was double the cars, so that's why that light was having so much trouble, it was double the traffic trying to get through that light. It was just amazing. But I think all the interlocking traffic, you know, 31 being closed, will keep them down through it for a while. And hopefully that goes back to normal until next.
I have a question on, anything on the docket for like, T4. Or like, gas rate, east kind of driving down also on the.
T4 and Bass Lake, there was a study done probably, I think it was like 2 years ago. That's all I'm not say. And it actually was approved and we got a grant for safety funding, and they're actually gonna do a hill cut there and then they'll lower that hill. And they're talking about putting a turn in there. So, we didn't get approved for a light, but we got approved for the whole top of Lower Hill, and I think it's getting after running around.
And what about the rest of it,
On that side, that's where I know, I think we listed an RSA on that, I'm not sure if they take that couple of years to get ahead and get the studies done and get approval and community warrants and all that stuff. But I know it came up at a few board meetings lately, talking about like what's going to be there. I know we tried to look at a roundabout, you know, like, just like we did studies, saying, I think there's enough real estate there to put one in, so we put a roundabout, and trying to get everything else for lights, and, you know, it's all the fun stuff that engineers try to dig into and see what we can do, and then hopefully we can start to get some funding for it, something. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Morris, what's next?
Okay. Well, I wish I had lots of exciting things to talk about. Mainly, we're doing a lot of housekeeping right now. You know, we have a plan in place for the marijuana money, looking at building a new jail, and the conversation is kind of talking around, do we build the program first and then do the building, or vice versa? You know, so it's, right now it's just, we're just talking. However, while I'm thinking about it, I wanted to tell you guys that, I have been in, talks with our new, health officer, and he and I are supposed to meet sometime in the near future to talk about the issues that we're having, and, we have a few ideas, so I don't know what those are yet, we're gonna meet. So, as for myself, I was able to participate, on October 1st in a national rally, called Let's Beat Breast Cancer, for percussionists all over the country we're doing rallies simultaneously. So, kind of a cool thing to kick off Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Tomorrow, we have an item on the agenda, a breast cancer awareness recognition, in honor of Holly C. Bird, who was a Long Lake resident who passed away from metastatic breast cancer recently. So we're expected to pass a resolution entitled, Check Your Cherries, and have a breast cancer awareness recognition day to be observed the second Saturday of October annually. So that's kind of what's going on, not a ton, but if anybody's got any questions for me? Yeah? No? Okay, that's it.
Chief Allen?
Good evening, all. So we're keeping up with our call numbers for this year. We're still at 81 for the month, so it's averaging out to over 2 a day. We did kick off our fire safety this month, October. So it's kind of for September, but October we did our open house. We had approximately 100 participants that partook. We had a lot of hands-on stations. We had roughly 100 people show up, and just want to say thank you for the support, and it's always a great time. I also did a final inspection with Cherryland Co-op for the loan on the annual. So we have some more payments, but the last inspection from them, so they're starting to inspire us to get some more of the USDA loan. And so the status of the NIFRS and NEARS, I'm going to have Chris do it, because that's kind of definitely his wheelhouse. So let you guys talk about that. Have him come on up and talk just quickly about that. Also, just a FYI, Chris is coming up on his 15 years of service for a long time.
You may have noticed in our stats page, it looks just slightly different. The federal government has updated the standards that all fire departments report to. This includes technology of mapping and gathering data across the U.S. more in real time. It has been done in the past. The last standard was started in the 1970s. So last year I met with the U.S. Fire Administrator out in California, outside of L.A., we talked about implementing this standard. So 100 fire departments were selected across the country, 2 from every state along the way, and the Detroit Fire Department were selected to kick that process off. So staff has been trained on that, and we're generating that data that they'll look at. And that goes into effect nationwide. The old standard goes out in January, and everyone picks up from there. So you'll see different incident types, but the data behind it that we normally do at the end of the year stays the same, all response statistics and all. But you'll be seeing a couple combined reports at the end of the year because we're operating with two different standards. So kind of fun stuff. Staff took to it really well, a little bit of training, and they've entered 81 incidents and kind of rolling with it. So good. Thank you.
Officer Nagarian?
Hi, everyone. I won't bore you with my last month's staff because there's not a whole ton. I took a much needed vacation, and then I had a week's worth of training, so I'm afraid if I gave you my stats, you guys would be getting rid of my position. So I am not going to say any of that. But I will talk about the home that we're having some issues with and kind of give you guys from the law enforcement perspective what's going on, and hopefully you guys can we can come up with a solution sooner rather than later because it's a long time in the making. So as mentioned, this home is owned by a couple of brothers whose parents passed away. They inherited the home, and it's kind of become a free-for-all for all of their friends. I would guess between medical complaints as well as law enforcement complaints, I mean, it's probably at this point pushing 100 in the last couple of years at that home. Not only have I been involved, the Travelers Narcotics team has been involved, our local interdiction team has been involved, CTS, ATS, you name it, every single acronym has been involved with this house. Lots of arrests made for all kinds of stuff, misuse or illegal misuse of a drone, assault, drug possession warrants, you name it, people have been arrested in the home for it, but it's not seeming to curb anybody's behavior. I met with the brothers last year. Again, they kind of took all of their friends and told them to come on over and have a place to live. And then everything fell through, and they began having issues with their friends who now had to be evicted. So last year, I believe there was 13 people living in that house. I helped them through the eviction process. We got that down to 4, and now it's up to God only knows how many now. We're right back where we started. So basically, our options were to originally contact the fire department to see if there was some sort of residential fire code that they could be violating, as they had numerous people inside a single resident structure. It could not be enforced for residents, only for obviously public buildings. Several reports were sent over to the health department for concerns about the building structure and the safety of the occupants. Hopefully this new individual can help us out, but that kind of fell through as well. There is no crime in the state of Michigan, nor is there ordinance here in Long Lake to prevent the camping portion of it, of the people living in tents out in the front yard. As I made very clear to all the residents within the neighborhood, if I was a neighbor, I don't even know what I would be doing. I hope we don't get to the point of vigilante type justice. I hope that we can get a solution, but I completely understand why people are at wit's end and running out of patience. So, and I completely agree. One suggestion that I did have, the HOA within the sub has been either disbanded or inactive, one of the two. I suggested maybe reestablishing the HOA, creating a bylaw about the camping or the trash or the lawn height, and beginning to fine, threaten a lien, do anything that might get these individuals out of the neighborhood. We did find that they were behind on taxes. That was an avenue that I tried. Unfortunately, they set up a payment plan with the county, and now the county is not looking into that anymore. So I'm kind of at wit's end too. We can arrest everybody out of that home, but it's not going to solve the problem, unfortunately. And hopefully we can come to some sort of solution. I'm hoping that this might be an avenue. But if anybody has suggestions up here or in the audience, I am all ears, please. So, thank you very much.
There's no pending business tonight. There's some new business. The first one in your packet, we have resolution 10/25/17. Kind of piggybacking on what Dan said, Barney Road will be completely, not complete, it will be fixed, but the underneath, it isn't a complete rebuild of the road, so the road will still be somewhat fragile. So they recommended that we pass this resolution, which would not let, bigger commercial vehicles on the road unless they were going to a resident on the road. It would make, semis and other big commercial vehicles not able to use that as a through road.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 10/25/17, Barney Road permanent restrictions for all non-essential and non-residential vehicles.
I'll support.
Motion by Dwayne, or by Kendra, support by Dwayne. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is passed. And just to let you know that, Garfield was looking at doing the same thing on their portion of Barney too. Oh, you're right. Roll call?
Yes. Alderaan?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Wheelock?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
And Mayor Webster.
The next two are two road names that we need just a motion to approve the names. The first one is Skyvale, and that will be the first road, and it's starting to be constructed right over here by the fire department. That new subdivision in there. So that's Skyvale, and then Mapleview is on Kirkner, and it's more of a, I think it's a road, but it's kind of to see a little road with like 3 driveways off it. It'll be a very small road there. And if you think those names are appropriate, somebody could make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve, both of the proposed road names as presented.
Motion by Dwayne, second by Linda, to approve Mapleview Trail and Skyvale Trail. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The roads are approved. Last thing on tonight's, new business is you have in front of you the cost to do a lot of work at the Timber Pavilion. And Ron was hoping for, approval to make this payment. A donor has offered to write a check for $65,000. But we have to approve the President to write those checks, even though the money will be donated back.
So we need a motion to approve that, to do the pavilion renovation.
Yes, the new money is at 54, 50.
I'll make a motion to approve the Timber's pavilion renovation for the amount of $54,000.
Motion by Dwayne, support by Kendra, to approve the pavilion's renovation. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm gonna call it, renovations is passed. Okay, so let's see here. Second public comment? No? Okay, the last thing then is the budget status. Getting towards the end of the year, so we're trying to do a bunch of cleanup on the budget. The first one is really exciting, we made the last payment to the remodel. So we have the one last budget amendment for 54,955.09. And then we'll kind of close out those accounts and be done with that. The next three items are items that were bigger items, and we need to take them out of the line items that we use and put them in outlay, lines. And that's so the auditors can, it's like a capital improvement, so they need it into a different budget line. So, we have to increase those three budget lines so that we can think that they're capital improvements. The next one, Ron had just budgeted the wrong, use special projects and outlays, so I wanna take those out of the budget. Instead, it should have been transfers out and transfers in, and that's for the road map. So that's really just a housekeeping. The next one, and I don't even know if Andy knows about this one yet. For some reason, when we split like the fire department and the office side is still then paying the admin fees on the firefighter retirement. And we try to split everything into 101 account and 206. So the admin fees for the, emergency services need the budget so that we can move it to there, $7,000. And then I noticed we took it from the HSA and the legal fees because they have a lot of extra money in there right now. So that's really just reclassing, the retirement admin fees to the right department. Next one is the farm market. Was super successful, really happy with it. We did spend $400 on there, and there was a line item, but when we made the budget, we did not know we were gonna have the farm market, so there was no money in there. So we need to put 400 in there that we took from the portable restrooms, because we have a lot of extra money in there. The very last one here is we have decided to break out vehicle maintenance from just maintenance, so we can have a better feel for how much we're spending on vehicles, not just all lumped together. So we started a vehicle maintenance line, if we could take, once again, some of that $1,000 from portable restrooms and put that in vehicle maintenance. And I'm sure that means a lot of sense.
I'll make a motion that we approve the budget amendments for October 14th, 2025 as presented.
Motion by Dwayne, support by Linda to approve the budget amendments for October 14th, 2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Anyone have any board of trustees comments? Linda?
So, I also am a resident of the subdivision that that's brought forth tonight, and, it's a little bit hard in that our sub is separated probably 1/3 and 2/3, Garfield Township and Walnut Township, but it affects the entire subdivision and also, Piccadilly and Chelsea and all of that. So, I want to propose that on next month's, meeting, we have this item on the agenda. I'm so glad, Sean, you're on my list today to talk about, so that's wonderful, the feedback that you have, and how it's all, taped and all that, so people know they can listen to the, the meeting. And also, Penny, I was gonna talk with you about what we can do with the health department, that sort of thing. So those two items I can check off my list because you've already addressed them, thank you. Some of the issues that have come to me as a trustee about our property value. When you get a junk house like that, it is so bad. I don't usually come around on the Piccadilly, but I have been recently just as I listen through the corner. I know that the township has a nuisance ordinance, but we have gone to people before with that, and it's the junk in the yard. I know we can't make them mow the lawn, but there's just so much stuff out there. There are always different cars. I personally am sure that I witnessed a drug activity. transaction. I'm sure that when someone's standing, passing a white envelope through a car window and that car picks up, it's very obvious. And it's a safety thing, and Holly, I don't think we're supposed to have privacy fences in our club, I'm not really sure about that, but doggone it, I'll help you put that thing up if you need it more.
We did, we put,
Yeah.
we put it up, we've invested tens of thousands of dollars. We put in the security system, we have outdoor cameras, and we just this summer, when we installed, we don't have this in rental, I work 7 days a week, like, we put in a 6-foot privacy
Yeah.
all the way around.
Yeah.
To somewhere, by our other neighbors, they have a, and it's not something that we wanted to do, but we felt like we had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give us some semblance of separation, because we were literally having drug-addled people walk onto our property in our backyard, various things happening, people falling. Can you imagine what could possibly happen if they did, I have young children as well. So
It was just a couple of weeks ago that the lady in the street at 4 AM, right, was it just a couple of weeks ago?
like 2 or 3 weeks ago at 4 AM, that's when we went home, but, she would sit out there clearly intoxicated on some substance, and she would sit in the middle of the driveway and cry and sing, or look at kids going by on their scooters, or seeing women out there, and men out there, old men and even out there in their underwear.
Mm-hmm. Pushing the grocery cart.
Yeah, well, and the other day, a young mom who stays home with her brand newborn baby and 2 toddlers, she lives over on the corner, the older brother that lives there, he pushes her on a grocery cart, and he was digging through their garbage, trying to find metal. He tinkers. Okay, that's fine, he tinkered, but that's a very threatening feeling when you're a young mom with little children like that in your driveway. And she asked him, she said, please don't dig through my garbage. And he's like, you're really nosy, aren't you? And yelling at this young mom with these problems. It's just really,
Can't have it. We can't have it.
I know.
Okay, well, I will have, Ron put that on
Can we
the,
put it on the agenda?
I will add, Ron makes the agenda, but I will
Okay.
definitely bring it up.
And then I would like to have Ken, research our nuisance ordinance, I'm not really sure how we go about that.
Have you come in and met with Ken and Matt?
I've talked with them, but I haven't.
I think
come in.
maybe,
we should do
I
that.
think, you and maybe if you want to, bring a couple people
Yeah.
and just sit in the conference room with Ken and Matt.
Okay, when we talk about, the subdivision bylaws, there's never really been an HOA, listed. However, there are bylaws that are dated May 6, 1988, before I moved in, and probably most of all of you too.
I think they go back to the 70s.
I would say
I've
it
seen the
probably
one
does.
that's 1974, I haven't seen the 88.
Okay, and it says in here, in little fine print, about fencing, and so it's, they're going against the bylaws of the subdivision, but no one enforces that. But don't put up a outbuilding because somebody will make you take it down, and I don't know who it was that, the subdivision is so old and we've never kept up.
I don't think they're enforceable, but I'm gonna see an attorney actually about those bylaws.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to put up a really nice garage,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it until an attorney says,
Right. I think that, it would be wonderful to have new bylaws and an HOA, but everyone has to agree to that, and I don't think that's gonna happen.
that's not gonna happen. Yeah.
However, however it goes, but.
So yeah,
if
an
we
attorney
can-
could help you through that,
Yeah.
and then,
Yeah.
probably one of the best things is for the association to become active.
Yeah, I'm not sure we'll get that, but if we can get the nuisance, taken care of, and Sean with, the police activity there, and then also with, the health department, it's just, so, anyway, if we can
I
buy,
have to say, Deputy Librarian and Attorney have been amazing, and you guys have been phenomenal, and so
we know it can't happen
It's
overnight,
everyone's
and it
issue.
can't happen within years, but eventually it happens, so, you know, maybe this is our first step, so we'll go from there.
It is definitely one of the worst things going on in our township right now.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It is bad.
So, yeah, I will,
Okay.
get
Well,
with,
we can-
have Ron see if we can put it on the agenda, and then kind of we can get a meeting with you and a couple
Yep.
people with,
And we can come back next month and
Ken
report
and
on
Matt.
that. Okay.
It'll probably be,
All right, so,
yep.
good with that? We can.
Thank you.
So is the declaration of restrictions, the deed restrictions?
You could go to the, register of deeds and see what's on the,
Okay.
what's the restriction.
That could be something we can, yeah, that, we heard about that at our meeting, so, yeah. Okay, thanks. Thanks for the tip.
We have, we've hired a few people this month, Jeffrey Westbrook, is that what that is? And Hayden Jury, both, volunteers with the fire department. And then the good news is, the big news, I don't know if you heard, but Ken did pass assessing, he's now an assessor too.
Mhm.
So he's, ready to work under Angela. He has to wait a year to take assessor three, and the size of our township has to be an assessor three. So but he's working under her and getting ready. So then we hired Greg Cornhold to take Ken's job, to get, ordinance enforcement officer. And he's gonna start Monday. We're getting things in line. If anything, there's anything else, we can adjourn the meeting at 6:41.